Well, we're here with Tiger varsity soccer coach, boys soccer coach, Jason Atkinson. Jason, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Great, and glad to have you here. And I know the start of the season almost upon us, less than a week to go. Before we look forward to this season, look back to last year, just a huge jump forward for you guys. You know, you pick up 7 wins last year. I got to ask you, for you personally, I mean, you obviously coached the team, and you guys, you were working hard, but the wins weren't coming. How satisfying was it for you last year to see the team finally get those wins and compete very hard in district?
Well, we've been coming in every year to do this interview pretty regularly. Maybe feel a bit redundant, but I've seen the progress coming, in many years. I could see it building, and then, that first season we got a couple wins, and then last year we went on to get, like you said, like the 7. So, I wasn't blowing smoke up anyone's what. I mean, I seen the progress coming, and we were building it, and it was awesome. It just felt good, and I think more importantly, it felt good for the guys. I mean, that's what we do it for anyways, and for the boys to perform well. So. Yeah,
and for that group, I mean, there was a group of seniors, 3 guys that graduated last year, but, they had obviously been through all the trials and tribulations of that team, so I got to think that was probably maybe more than anything else nice to see those guys get some wins. I mean, you guys were 7-5 at one point, and you played everybody tough in district. It seemed like.
Yeah, we did. I think we had one game against Gadsden here at home that was the competitiveness and the attitude. We didn't have it in that match, and so that was, I remember, disappointing. But you were correct. Yeah, the district bit was fantastic. I mean, and what I really like is the second half of the district season when we play the teams again. I think tactically, as a coaching staff, we've done a great job in altering what we need to do, and then I feel that's the boys really believe that these changes will help, and then the attitude is positive. So then we go into the matches feeling very that we can win it. And yeah, for those 3 guys, they had been through some rough patches, and then obviously the year before, then there was a huge push in winning those first couple matches, and that was a team I felt that really started to change the attitude.
It's obviously 2 guys that were very important what your team did last year, but you bring back so much this year. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys who were juniors last year and got significant playing time. I got to think, that's got to be a big pleasure to see that many guys that are going to be back for this season.
Yeah, it really is, and also I think we have some experience in the goalkeeping position this year with a couple guys that we selected for the varsity team. So that's important, because you'll have those matches where you'll have the run of play, you'll be holding the ball, but you're having trouble finishing that day, and it happens, And so you need the goalkeeper to be strong on those days, because one mistake and then you're down 1-0 and you just can't finish, and then it becomes a struggle. So I feel a bit more confident with that. And all these guys who have experience, we have experience in the back line all the way to the forward positions. So it's not just we have guys in the midfield who are really experienced. It is across the board. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And we've had these a few additions who've just moved into town as well. So we lost like we mentioned before we came on here, Will to moving, but there's 2 or 3 guys who just moved into the community. Yeah, it's
so they're ready to play.
They're ready to play. We selected them for the varsity team just last night.
Let's talk about this team. You mentioned the goalkeeping. Who are the guys that you guys are going to rely on this year to come back there and keep her?
For right now, we're looking at Austin Talley, who played in JV mostly last year, but he's impressed so far in the tryouts. And last night, he really performed well. And then we also have Jose Barbosa, who has experience from last year. And so we got 2 quality guys. For example, today in the training, we're going to train both JV and varsity together. And my assistant's going to take all the goalkeepers. We're going to have 4 to 5 goalkeepers in a group training, which is generally, you look at collegiate professionals, they always have specific goalkeeping sessions for their goalkeepers, and we'll be able to do that this year because we have a number of them. So that's kind of neat.
I felt like the strength of last year's team was the defense. You guys held so many teams to low scoring throughout the year.
Years,
yeah, you guys have been playing very well there. Talk about this defense. Is it going to be a lot of guys returning to those positions this year, or maybe some new faces?
It's going to be some new faces. I think last year we pushed San Pedro back towards the second half of the season, and so he did a great job. He most likely will start in that position. Well, he's one of the best guys at reading the game, and he has experience and feels comfortable and has some leadership back there. So, yeah, so he'll probably start that center back position, which kind of guides the whole defensive area. And Colton Stewart, who was a left back last year, played awesome, but I may push him up to the midfield this year. He's very dynamic, it looks, this year. So, and then I got to make a decision on a right back, because right now we're going to set up playing 3 in the back with the wing back system. So we'll play 3 very tight, and then we'll have guys who play a combination of in the midfield and on the back line. It's called a wing back system. But primarily we do play 3, and we try to push guys a little bit higher to pressure the other team sooner in their possession. Yeah, I feel like I have one spot down, and the other 2, I definitely have some options. So.
Now, midfield and forwards, obviously those are guys who are going to be a lot more involved in terms of what you guys are doing offensively. Maybe a part of the team that struggled a little bit late last year. You guys had some trouble scoring.
Yeah.
Who do you expect to step up for you this year?
Actually, there's the guys who have been playing those positions. Seth Reynolds and Chris Rollerson, and actually this year I think Lane McKinley is looking real good. He's finishing the ball well the last couple of days of training, so that may be. I think that's an option for us. And those are 3 guys that, especially Chris and Seth, that have some experience playing. Lane played towards the end of last year, so those guys look strong, and they look to get forward. And also we have Danny Lovett, who's also on the track team as well, and he's developed real well there in the spring. And he's one of the paciest guys that teams have to deal with. I mean, there won't be too many guys much quicker than he is, and so he can get around a lot of those back lines. So we have some options. Actually, I feel like the back line is going to have a bit more work than the finishing part early on. Mm-hmm. So a little bit flopped from last 2 years.
Do you feel like it's going to be a different kind of strategy this year? You feel like maybe more aggressive offensively than you have been able to be in the past, or is it going to be pretty similar to what we've seen last year?
Yeah, actually, we have a slight change. We're really going to try and obviously we won't press the teams very high. We want to win the ball early in their possession, because I do think we have players that are going to do really well getting forward. I actually think we'll be able to score quite a few goals, and it's a matter if we can make sure defensively we're tight, and so it's maybe a bit flipped from the last 2 years. Actually, team-wise, defensively we'll be fine. We have guys who are pretty fit right now, and we'll close down the ball quick. But 1v1 defending the back, we're really going to have to work a bit on just to make sure that our techniques are good defending as well. So I think it's going to be actually a bit flopped.
Do you think, does the team have more advantage when the game's free-flowing, or do you feel like you're going to have more advantage in set pieces? Is there one of the two, or how do you feel like the team looks at going into this year?
We've never scored tons of goals on set pieces, so I don't think that we're necessarily negative in that aspect. But I don't think that's a huge strength. It just never has been. We've had a few individuals who can really win the ball well out of the air. We'll score a couple, because I think we'll have a lot of set pieces around the box. As our attacking players who like to get forward will probably cause problems for defenders. So just by number of chances, we're probably going to score some in set pieces. I think that's one thing that will increase our numbers in set pieces, just because we'll have so many more.
One thing I'm sure is important for you is having guys that are leaders on the field, who are going to be those guys you expect to be the vocal leaders and the ones that are really stepping up out there on the field for you during the game.
Sam's going to be one of them, for sure. I feel actually Colton will be as well. And it's difficult because you have some guys who you can't have every player out there trying to direct the entire game. I mean, the whole point is leadership is down to, one, how they perform themselves. In order to be a leader, you got to be performing yourself, right? I mean, you got to get quality game from yourself, first of all. If we do that, training hard, and then that's leadership in itself. We'll have a few guys who are vocal out there, but for me, it's more important that we're helping each other, If a man's coming on, give him a quick shout. How can you help your teammate the best? That's what really leadership is to me, and it doesn't have to be one guy necessarily. But we will have one or two guys who will, I think, when something needs to be said, they'll say it. But, sometimes you have too many cooks in the kitchen as well, For me, it's more about making sure that we're all helping each other, and that's the leadership from everybody. And even young athletes can be leaders. It's limitless. You don't have to say, okay, now you're of this age, you can be a leader. Yeah. It should be everybody, and you should get the most out of yourself first, and then that's an example of leadership, and then it's contagious, and then everyone is doing it, So that's how I view the leadership bit. And I think we'll have a lot of that out there. The boys are positive so far, and I like working with this group. So.
Well, the progression has obviously gone forward. You guys getting more and more wins has gone forward. I have to think that you feel like this is the year that this team can not only compete in district, but can make it to state this year.
I would think so. I mean, people have been asking me. I was just in the athletic office and talking to the athletic director, and that's what I told him. I think a legitimate goal is to finish third in district. And then we do that, and we have a winning record, and we're very close to 500 record in district. I think we'll be selected for the state tournament. Our district's very strong year in and year out. Usually 3 teams get in from our district, and so it's going to be tough to even go that third, but it's possible. I really believe it's possible. And then in the state tournament, obviously if we're third in our district, our seed may not be the highest, so we'll have a tough opponent, but regardless, the goal is obviously we won't take it Tuesday first. That comes first, but you also you got to have a dream, right? You got to have goals, and that's what I told the boys last night. So it's going to be exciting, and we can definitely do it. I see the quality of players that we have, and
I have a feeling as you as a coach, that's not going to dictate on whether you feel like it's a successful season or not. You're going to look at how the guys played and how things went throughout the season.
I got to say honestly though, every year that I've been the head boss, I felt I've gotten the most out of the kids, and perhaps it hasn't been in wins. We've had a couple years. Well, we haven't won a game. But I take the players that I have, and I say, okay, this is our baseline where we start, and then have we increased the level? Obviously, I'm a very competitive person, but I also have to be realistic and say, well, where we started to where we progress. I could have a team that are filled with just absolute talent. Maybe we go 18-2. At the end of the season, I say to myself, okay, have these players better themselves? Has the quality of our team play bettered? And if it hasn't, maybe I won district, we won 18-2. Doesn't mean I did a good job, So I've been happy with every year that I've been in this position. I've done the best, and obviously the wins do look good. There's no doubt about it. I want to win every game that we play. I would love to go 20-0 every single year. I'm the boss here. Who wouldn't, But that's what athletics is. It tests you. I look just as well as in track. I do the same thing. I have a kid who's run this time. Well, can I get him to this time? And it's the same thing in this sport. I have a player at this level. Technically, is he better? Tactically, can he make better decisions? And that's how I evaluate it.